As part of the government's effort towards a low-carbon and climate-resilient economy, the State Minister for Energy, Okasai Opolot, highlights that electricity will play a central role in shaping the country's energy mix.
The government supports industrialists in improving energy efficiency through energy audits, aiming to phase out obsolete technology in our country. We are also keen on promoting electric mobility and developing a strategy and master plan for electric vehicle charging infrastructure in our country. In a bid to promote the adoption of cleaner and efficient transport technologies,
Okasai also says his ministry has embarked on developing electric vehicle charging infrastructures across the country.
So far, a charging station for electric vehicles is being established at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development headquarters. In addition to this, a regulatory framework for setting up electric vehicle charging stations is being developed, starting with the Kampala City Authority.
He further revealed that his ministry has established regional committees, including the private sector, to provide sustainable support for the development of biofuel programs.
The National Biofuels Committee, composed of the private sector, oil companies, biofuels producers, and relevant ministries, departments, and agencies to provide a strategic guidance to the biofuels industry and blending program. 2, the internal technical committee, composed of technical staff drawn from the various departments of the ministry, policy and planning.
Additionally, he says the government is also promoting nuclear activities, evident in preparatory activities like the ongoing construction of a nuclear plant in Buyende district.
Additionally, the government is promoting nuclear energy. Preparatory activities for 840 megawatt nuclear plant in Buyende district are ongoing, and the nuclear training program is being set up at Soroti University in Teso. It is also important to note that the current tariff adjustments reduces the cost of tariff by 1.5% this quarter. The adjustments for domestic consumers is at Uganda shillings 803 shillings per kilowatt hour.
Relatedly, the officials from the Ministry of Energy revealed that between July 11th and 13th, Uganda will host the International Power and Electric Expo. The expo will host more than 100 exhibitors from Uganda, India, UAE, and UK.
Last year in April, the Sudanese armed forces clashed with the Rapid Support Forces, a war that has pushed the African country into pieces. Just like any other war, the women and children have been victimized and thousands left homeless. This has prompted the Sudanese women to meet with Uganda's women leaders to discuss how to amplify the voices of young girls and women, build confidence among them, and provide a platform for women to jointly articulate their concerns that will facilitate a peaceful resolution in Sudan. Prime Minister Museveni Nabbajja, who launched the conference, emphasized the importance of investing more resources in education, health, and security sectors to ensure that all citizens can thrive in their communities.
We empower women. We guarantee, galvanize, and ensure the future of our children. When we empower women, we empower our societies in a more sustainable way. And so to empower a woman, we must invest in quality education and health. Most importantly, we must invest in security of our nations and the region at large for women to thrive in their communities.
She also called on Sudanese women leaders to create political, social, and economic impacts that will endure beyond their lifetimes to aid in rebuilding peace in Sudan.
Important that as women of Sudan, your voices are heard and held as valuable, especially in our united efforts to bring peace to the African continent and Sudan in particular. We must utilize the collective power of women to build a better tomorrow for all.
The Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amonj, and the former Vice President, Wandera Kaziwe, have underscored the importance of women in governance in Africa.
As we talk now, you as Sudanese women, not only look at the political front, but where things also happen after the leaders have made the policies. Education. Education. Who are the educated women? What are they doing?
I'm just into a vote for you. You are saying, oh, the Prime Minister, what if an accident occurs? What if she drowns? She will jump into a boat to look for women who are on the island.
The conference will be followed by the upcoming peace dialogues to be convened by the African Union High-Level Panel on Sudan. In May this year, the World Bank launched the GROW project, a 5-year initiative valued at $217 million, approximately 900 billion Uganda shillings. The project aims to support women in business by providing training grants and credit through the Uganda Private Sector Foundation after a thorough screening process. Following the launch, last week, Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amonj, revealed that the government was set to launch 5 banks under the GROW project, from where women entrepreneurs will be supported with financial loans at relatively low interest rates to enable them grow their businesses. While appearing before COSASE today, officials from Private Sector Foundation and the Ministry of Finance revealed that women will acquire loans from the designated banks at lower rates.
With 2C is an amount totaling $50 million, which combines some of the money under 2B and then also 2C, which will go towards the lending. So that money will be lent at a concessionary rate to the banks that the CEO has spoken about. And those banks are required, based on the agreements and contracts they've signed with PSFU, to lend that money to the women entrepreneurs at not more than 10.5%.
Members sitting on PAC tasked the officials to explain the terms and conditions to be applied in the process, noting that women have been denied the opportunity to acquire loans in the agricultural sector.
Mr. Chairman, what terms will you be having with that bank? Looking at the agricultural loans, that government has given a lot of money to some of these banks and subsidized it so that the farmers can pick the money at a much more lower rate than the commercial banks. But these banks have decided to refuse to give this money. They make it so hard for a farmer to get this money, to the extent that they prefer to sell their commercial money as compared to the one that has been given to support this. Why would you want to go in for these banks to give that money? Can't we find a way to give this money? And how do you make it clear? Because I remember at one time I applied for agricultural loan, but they said they are processing from the Bank of Uganda. As they will give me this, when it comes, it will be offset, and it ended up as a commercial loan, and I ended up paying through the nose. So how sure are you that this money will reach at the interest rate which you have quoted for the local person down there?
In response, the officials explained to the committee that banks are given instructions to meet a target at a given time. Once that time elapses, the money is withdrawn and transferred to commercial banks, which affects the women entrepreneurs.
As the Honorable Minister and the Permanent Secretary said earlier, there are lessons that have been taken in executing these components from previous programs. And the first lesson, if I may, in the contracts that are being signed with the financial institutions, they have been given specific targets in terms of the number of beneficiaries that should, the minimum number of beneficiaries that should benefit from the loans. The second thing is they have also been given a period, an availability period, within which the money must be lent.
The answer seemed to be confusing as the committee chairperson questioned the officials to explain why the process affects women, yet the project receives grants and loans which are meant to be separated for various activities.
There is also a component of lending, still in 2B. That 2B has two components. There is a component of a grant, but there is a component of lending. Now I want to interrogate, and the minister spoke to it here. I followed it carefully. Said combination of credit and grant.
Correct.
And you gave a total of 35 billion. Then you have the grant proper, which is 35. Now, which no. We have a grant of 20. We have lending, proper lending, 35. Okay? Now, in the another 35 components, it carries two legs. One is still a grant, and the other one is still a loan. Now, in my own understanding, why isn't grant, loan, alone?
The initiative will focus on those with common businesses, but running impressively will be in a position to get loans, while grants will be extended to only those with unique enterprises. Amounts up to a maximum of 200 million shillings will be extended depending on the category one's enterprise falls in. The GROW project aims to assist